Yo, what's up, everybody? Had some technical issues earlier, but we are back. I'm a little late tonight. I'm really tired, but I wanted to hop on and talk about some things and get back into the groove of every Thursday because because tomorrow is my official release of my platform, Ritual, a podcast for conscious men. That starts tomorrow at 9 o'clock, so definitely tune into that. But still, no matter what, I will be live um, every Thursday here on the Culture Corner, and then also be live every Friday on YouTube and also Facebook through Ritual, StreamYard. You can catch me on those platforms. My show is being broadcasted by IBM TV, so that's a broadcasting company that's able to broadcast to any country or almost any country in the world. So that's a big deal. But definitely want to thank everybody that do tune in to the show, engage into the group, both groups, not only the Culture Corner but also the Ritual. It definitely means a lot. But tonight, I just want to talk about some things that have been kind of weighing on me, heavy on my heart, and definitely tune in, engage into the comments. I want to hear what everybody thinks. But but the categories for tonight are it's only the beginning, or it's only beginning. Hurt people. Double standards. We already know what that means, and of course, affirmation of the week. Always love to end the show on a high, positive vibe. So when I talk about it's only the beginning, I think everybody kind of is is really around the same mindset when it comes to what that means, or most likely, this is concerning the Roe versus Wade. Now, I haven't said much about it because I've been observing the energy around it. I've been really trying to figure out exactly not only what's happening, what it means, and also what it means to me, versus simply just having this emotional response and I'm just blasting my opinion. And we had a similar situation, well, not a similar situation, but we had a huge uproar in 2020 with the killing of George Floyd. And we saw how that became this movement. And I'm seeing that now, the Roe versus Wade, this is definitely something that has that same potential to do the same thing. So when it comes to me and my thoughts on it, I think it's crazy and I think it's terrible that there is a law that is put in place to govern what people do with their bodies, what women do with their bodies. And this not only affects women, but this also affects men too. It doesn't affect men in the way that I've heard most men talking about, where well, I don't have babies, this and that. It's more so of about the social economics of it, as far as with women, and also the overall relationship with women, and also what's next. If they're able to take away something as powerful as this, what's next? It's going to be condoms, or it's going to be contraceptives. Then we're looking at vasectomies, and then we're looking at then of course it's going to be same sex marriage. The list is going to keep going and going and going. So there's not going to be a real stop to this. But I think didn't see people didn't see this coming. But think about how COVID has affected our 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 lives, and how it's taking control and a hold on what people can and cannot do. Think about when it comes to the jab, how that came into play. So this is a byproduct of of the powers to be taking control of things that they want to take control of. I was on Sunshine Show on Tuesday. It was on Instagram. We were live on that platform, and I was talking about my thoughts on this. I think it's population control. I think it's to control the amount of babies and the amount of people, and also is to control a certain narrative. Anytime something big like this happens, there's always something happening on the back end. There's always something happening behind the scenes. We don't know what's happening. We don't know what else is happening. But we do know that there's still a war going on. and it's steadily escalating. And throughout this time we've heard of talks of nuclear war. So So I really do think that there is something else going on, but I don't want to say that to take away from the ruling. But I do believe this affects everybody, but in ways it affects people in different ways because people have different points of view or perspectives on children and abortions and what that means in their lives. But I will say this, fellas, if you have women in your life that are really affected by this, make sure you show up for them. Make sure you show up for those women to help them through the times that they need help. If they need someone to talk to, they need someone to vent to, they need someone to just simply care, that's how you show up for the women in your life. Um, and also, too, make sure that if there's something that you want to, well, I don't know about protesting, but um, because I honestly don't think protesting really helps the cause. Only laws and money do. That's where the real power is. So for me, this helps me see that we simply, especially as a black community, I think this is going to affect the black community, our black women the most. We need to seriously double down on building our community. We seriously need to get back to bartering and trading with one another and slowly but surely stepping away from the things that we are so tethered to and creating our own system. I think this is something that people have been talking about for years, of course, especially in 2020. We saw the height of this. But as we see what's going on, the from inflation, from gas prices going up to taxes on products, and then also just the price of everything, period. So I really do think that we need to start coming together closer as a community through times like this. And like I said, definitely showing up for the women that are in your life that are affected by this because this not only affects them, but this also affects you too as men. So, um, so make sure you have those conversations. Talk to the people that are really, really, really taking it harder than others. Not saying that that is not something hard to take, but everyone deals with things differently. So, but I definitely believe there's something else going on, or this is the build up to something else. And we'll definitely see that sometime in the future. But until then, make sure you just stay ready. Make sure you, like I said, we need to come together as a community, the people that are aligned with us, and literally start pulling our resources together. Because as we see what's going on, eventually there is going to be most likely some type of crash. We will enter into some type of recession. And I think this is the time where we start pulling together, and this is the time that we actually start showing each other how much we care and showing that support. So if you don't feel that it affects you, just give it time. I definitely believe it will. You'll definitely start to see the effects. So um, I found a I found an article today saying that men are rushing to get vasectomies. So that's something that could and most likely will be affected in the future. So I think this is only the beginning, um, as people's rights are slowly being stripped from them and don't even know it. So, but like I said, men, take care of the women that are being affected by this the most, and make sure you show up for them so that they can continue to show up for you. Um, and then that honestly just leads me into my next segment. Hurt people hurt people. During times like this, um, we have to make sure that when we are showing up for people, that we not only just show up for them, but we understand what they need. Right? We understand what we need and also what our women need. I cannot be there for you if I don't know how to deal with my own pain, my own frustration, my own strife, tribulations, etc. So hurt people. People naturally lash out at other people when they are hurt. So getting to the point where you were healing, because heal people, And this is a good time to start coming together to heal. Because when you are healed, everybody's happy. Everybody's happy in your life because you're giving the most of yourself to them, the best part of you to them. And that's what everybody wants. That's what everybody needs. Um, so that's one thing that I think is very essential during this time is to focus on healing. Because as the weeks to come, you'll see, the protests, you'll see the news, you'll see everything going on, and it's not going to be pretty. And it's going to be a lot of pain. It's going to be a lot of pain. So make sure over the next few weeks, just keep your eye on the people that are going to be affected by this or express how they're being affected. And just keep an ear to that. But overall, I think this is crazy. To be honest with you, I think this is crazy. Um, I and honestly, I think about the women in my life. What's to happen? The what ifs are everywhere, right? The what ifs. What if something to happen and then they can't choose? They don't have a decision. They just have to go with it. It's crazy. But I feel as though this is a distraction. Not saying that with it being a distraction, that this means that it has less value. It just simply means that there's something else going on. There's a reason why they're doing something like this. This is incredibly drastic. Incredibly drastic. So hurt people hurt people. Get to the point of healing before you try to help people. You can't help anybody until you help yourself. And until you help yourself, you are technically of no help to anybody. So heal, then you can heal people. Heal, then you can help people. Or at least that's always been my goal. Is to help people heal. Because if I can't help a person heal or help anybody, then I feel as though I have less value, to be honest with you. So I want to talk about double standards with men and women, right? Um, I got this. I got this idea from a post. It was something that Sunshine posted. She was talking about double standards, and she says no man will. Well, no, not says, but she posted something that said no man will give a female as many chances as a female will give a man. Oof, oof. I don't know, man. I know a lot of men out there that have given women the, double, second chances and stuff like that. But I'm not comparing. But I do believe that is true to an extent. Or it is more common, or that I've heard that a woman will give a man more chances than a man will. Um, but my thing is, we can compare. Well, I don't compare double standards, truthfully. Um, I feel as though if you continue to compare double standards, you're only coming from a place of pain, and all you see is your own personal perspective and experience. You can't see the forest through the trees, um, or because of the trees. So I think when it comes to double standards, it's more so of if we understand that there is a double standard, how do we remove these standards? Because these are conditions. How do we move these conditions and come together? Instead of comparing, well, you do this and I do that, how do we just simply just come together? Because everybody has been a victim of a double standard, and and we have all done or have been on the winning side of a double standard. So instead of comparing, apples to oranges and tick for tack, If you have somebody that you're able to come together with and understand and care about and just move forward with, forget the double standards. What are your standards? What are your expectations, your barriers? Well, not barriers, your boundaries. Once you establish your boundaries with this person, double standards slowly start to fizzle away. Or these conditions that have been placed in your life by other people and the dominant society, these things start to move out of view. And the only thing that you see are the boundaries that you and this other person have set in front of you. This is my boundary. You will not cross this because of XYZ, and vice versa. Instead of thinking that there's a double standard that as a man I do this, and vice versa, if I do this, then you can't. Or if you do this, or you do this, I can't. Because if I do it, there's some type of backlash. The double standards don't help anybody. It just keeps up barriers, and it puts everybody in a box. And it teaches you how to love conditionally, care conditionally, have compassion, or have conditional compassion. When simply we just all need these things. We just all need compassion without conditions. We were taught how to love and live with conditions, not only from the lives that we grew up into, but also through our faith growing up. If you grew up Christian, you learned how to love conditionally, or you learned that there is love through conditions. So double standards only create more barriers. And one of my purposes of having any type of platform is to help people build boundaries and not barriers. So if you follow a double standard, that's not a boundary, that is a barrier. No one can It's very difficult to break through that. It's incredibly difficult to break through that because there's a there's an outside well there's an external image that you're concerned with. There's an egotistical image you are concerned with. How you look to people, how that makes you feel when other people look at you. So double standards don't help anybody, they only hurt. So if you got a good one, you care about her, you care about him, fuck the double standards. Do what's best for y'all, and you'll be happy. Because that's all that matters. Behind closed doors, that's your relationship, not anybody else's. And that goes back to everything that I talked about earlier, from hurt people to hurt people. You have to make sure that you create a healing environment when you are with your partner. And also with the Roe versus Wade being overturned, making sure you're checking in on that person to see how they are and where they or what they think about this. I think that's important because everybody has been a victim of, well, not everybody. I won't say everybody, but people. But I think that there are more people than not that know somebody that has been a victim of unsolicited sex, or we'll just say rape, or anything of that nature. I know that happened to someone in my family, and even though the children that were born weren't a product of that, but that definitely did affect her. So just check in on your women, show up for them, and make sure they know that you care. All right. Um, like I said, it's going to be a short show tonight. Um, but I always end the show with, with the affirmation. And my affirmation of the week is fly. Fearlessly love yourself. That translates into so many things for me, but the most basic thing is Just just be delusional when it comes to how much you love yourself. Be incredibly delusional because only you can believe in yourself at all times because you are with yourself all the time. So if there's a if there's an idea that you want to pursue, there's a career you want to go after, there's a project you want to start, there's a place you want to travel. I mean, the list goes on. Any of these things, that's a form of you loving yourself, expressing this self love. So fearlessly love yourself. So go after the things you truly want in life because as we see in 24 to 48, 48 hours, 24 hours, anything can happen where what you thought was your or what you thought was yours isn't. Never, it actually never existed. So be delusional in your dreams, be delusional in your right to live, and be delusional in loving yourself. So fearlessly love yourself, no matter what anybody says or tries to throw at you or anything. Love yourself. So once again, definitely please do reach out to the people that you love, um, and 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 just show up for them. You never know what somebody's going through by just a simple phone call. And think about it like this: we all have people that we go to during certain things, right? We always have somebody we call when we have good news. We always have somebody that we call when we have bad news, and we also have somebody we call where we just want to just chop it up, right? If you take that reason you call that person out of the equation and just call them, that will transcend your relationship because you are now not only being there, but you're showing up for them in a completely different way, and that will be something that they appreciate. So that's my time tonight, people. Thank you who all joined in. Um, like I said, once again, tomorrow will be the official launch of my show through for my company in Ritual, and it is a podcast for conscious men. I really, really, really want to get this off the ground because this is a message that can help everybody. But I truly feel that when a man is leading, not saying that a woman can't, but when a man leads, is it provides a different environment for people to operate and move in. But that starts within. So once again, that's my time. Thank you all for joining in this evening, and I will see y'all soon. Peace.